And we are here on page 3, the top part of page 3 in section 1.1. And just a little recap, we did this at the beginning of 1.1, but for those of you who are maybe jumping in part way, or just as a review, let's talk about what a solution to an equation is. Remember that an equation has an equal sign, as opposed to an expression which does not. A solution to an equation is the value of the variable, that makes the equation true. And when I say true, it means that you have one side equal to another side. A true equation means one side equals the other side. So you might end up with 7 equals 7 or something like that, or 0 equals 0. So it's the number that works in the equation. Works in the equation. And you might have heard other teachers talk about keeps the equation balanced, both sides are equal. All of those are ways to talk about what a solution to an equation is. Oh, pardon me. Okay. The instructions for the problems you're going to see for this type is, say, determine if the given number is a solution of the equation. So they're going to actually give you, that got cut off a little bit, that should say equation. They're going to give you an equation, which means you're going to see an equal sign, and then they're going to give you the solution. They're going to give you a number, and they want you to figure out, is that a solution? Is that a number that makes the equation true? Is it a number that works in the equation? Does it make a true statement, one side equal to the other side? That's what you're trying to do here with these instructions. So that's what that little number off to the side is. In both of these cases, they give you 6 to try as your solution here. So we've got, on number 52, we've got 3n plus 4 equals 19. We're trying to determine if 6 is the solution. Is 6 the solution to the equation? That's really what we're trying to do here. So I start by copying what is given to us, and you know, I've typed it here on the page. You should start by copying it directly from the book, okay? Very, very important skill. I've typed it here so you can make sure we're all working together here, and we don't have to refer to the book while we're doing notes. But then on my second step, I rewrite the equation without the variable, because I know I'm going to replace it. The way you determine is we're going to substitute it back in. Okay, so 3 times m plus 4 equals 19. And my question is 6 the solution? Does m equal 6? So we're going to try it. Now, we're headed to the point where you could start without giving a choice, and you're going to be able to solve this. And some of you may already have that skill. But we're starting here with the process of what does a solution even mean? What is the point of it? And so we're trying to hammer home the idea that a solution means that number works in the equation. It makes it true. So if you have other solving skills at this point, great, but that's not what we're testing right now. We're talking, that's not what we're building. We're building the knowledge of what is a solution, not just how you find it. We'll get there. Don't worry. We're headed that way in a hurry. So we're going to put in 6 here. And I just add a little question mark over the equal sign. That's my way of remembering what it is that I'm doing. Okay, it's a visual reminder of what I'm doing, that I'm trying to figure out, do I have a true statement? Okay, so I'm substituting to find out. So when I do that, 3 times 6, order of operations here, 3 times 6 is 18. Plus 4 equals 19. And again, I'll just remind myself, I'm just checking this. I'm just checking it, okay? And then 18 plus 4 is 22. Does that equal the 19 that I've been bringing down the whole time? And of course the answer is no. So 6 is not a solution to this particular equation. Okay? Let's look at number 56. 4 times the quantity p plus 3, or 4 times parentheses p plus 3, equals 6p. And again, 6 is the solution that we are trying to determine. Is this the right solution or not? Is 6 the solution? Does it make a true statement when we substitute or plug it back in? Now, what's different about this problem? That's going to be a skill you want to develop this term. As you move through the assignment, the problems are going to gradually get more challenging. That's how you grow. That's how you develop those critical thinking skills that are you're going to use them throughout life, not just math. But math is a great place to build your critical thinking skills. And one of them is using observation. What's different about this problem and the one we're looking at now? Now, obviously, you're watching this video, so we can't have a conversation back and forth. But I'm hoping that you might say something like, well, it's a different letter. Okay, but variables can be any letter, so I'm not too concerned about that. There's parentheses. True. So there's going to be a little bit more involved in the process of evaluating our substitution. Okay. Still doesn't change how we do the problem. We still are going to substitute 6 in for the variable. But I'm hoping what you really notice is that there's a variable on both sides of the equal sign. We only had it on one side. We only had to plug it in one spot. Now we have it on both sides. Just because there's a difference doesn't mean you're going to make up a new way to do this. We're still going to follow the same steps. We're still going to plug in, even though p is on both sides of equal sign. Okay, so the difference in this one is that p is on both sides of equal sign, but we still are going to do the same process of substitution and evaluation. Okay, I'm going to take that original problem, 4 times p plus 3 equals 6 times p, and I'm just going to leave some workspace for p and substitute in 6. And then remind myself, I'm just testing to see if this makes a true statement. Okay, that's what I'm doing here as I determine if it's a solution or not. Anything you can do to help yourself on paper, visually, to remind you, or out loud as you're working through a problem if you're more of an auditory learner, keep in mind what the goal here is. Okay, sometimes we know how to do the math, but we forget why we're doing it, and then we do different steps that we shouldn't. So keep in mind the goal. We're testing to see if this makes a true statement. One number equal to that same number. So order of operations says, well, order of operations, we could do one of two different things. If you have the instinct to distribute here, that's what obviously my instinct went to. You have some algebra in you that is just dying to come out. We'll pull that in a little bit later. Order of operations says that 4 times 6 plus 3, 6 plus 3 inside the parentheses is 9, and 4 times 9 is 36. You'll get the same thing if you distributed 4 times 6 plus 4 times 3, 24 plus 12. You would get there the same way. The question is, does this equal the 6 times 6, which is 36? And indeed it does. So this is a true statement. Okay, over here this was a false statement, so that's why it's not a solution. But this one is a true statement, so yes, 6 is a solution to this equation. 6 is a solution that works in this equation. And in fact, it's the solution. Now, I know that if you weren't sure if there was only one solution or not, that's okay at this point. That's something we'll talk more about as we get towards the end of this term and as we get ready for 65, whether or not there's one or more solution. But for now, we were just testing, is 6 a solution to this equation? And in this case, yes, it is. Okay, so take a moment to talk it through what you've seen happen here. Highlight for yourself any questions physically on the paper so you can easily find them when you need them when you find your help resource and can ask them. Some of you might have to wait for class. Some of you will have some established study groups by now, or some another help resource that you have more readily available than waiting until class time. Get your questions answered as soon as possible. That's the best advice I can give you. Make sure you've got everything copied, and then let's tackle number 54. It's a try problem. So I'm going to pause the video here on your own, pause it, and then try it, and come back for the answer. Okay, hopefully you were able to pause that in time. If not, do it quickly, because here comes the answer for number 54. Indeed, 3 does work. Yes, 3 is a solution to this equation. Okay, and I will see you at the bottom of page 3.